Oconee. It means land beside the water in Cherokee. And it's a fitting name for this scenic South Carolina county, with its miles of lakes, rivers, and waterfalls. For residents making a life here, and visitors escaping theirs for a while, every memory matters. That's why, in a medical emergency, every minute matters.
My oldest son ran in the house and said, "Mama, Ren's hurt and it's bad." My boys were outside playing with their daddy. They had been in the batting cage, hitting on the pitching machine. We think it's thrown all the balls, and so Ren bends down to come out of the cage, and it throws one random ball at a weird angle, and it ends up hitting him in the chest. He collapsed.
Commotio cordis is the name given to a rare accident in which a sharp impact to the front of the chest at just the precise moment in the cardiac cycle terminates all cardiac activity. So most of its victims are children. Most of those children are young and healthy, and most of them dying.
I grabbed him up and I told Ronnie to drive. Ren's breathing wasn't normal, but he was breathing some. And by the time we reached the entrance, he had completely stopped breathing.
When minutes matter, it's crucial to receive the right care at the right time in the right place. On March 20th, 2004, for Ren Johns, that happened right here in the emergency department at Oconee Memorial Hospital.
I looked up and our triage nurse was running down the hall with a child, and the child was limp and lifeless and blue, and he was dead. So we did what we do. We started CPR. We hooked him up to monitors, and we applied shocks to his heart numerous times without success.
I remember standing there hearing a baby cry. Somebody had brought a baby in, and all I could think of was if I could just hear my baby cry.
About 15 minutes into the resuscitation, we found a pulse. His heart was beating again. We were excited, obviously, that his heart was beating again, but we were very, very worried, very fearful that his brain was damaged from the time he had gone without blood flow. And so we met in the corner and we prayed for Ren. And that was a day I'll never forget.
For 80 years, this hospital has promoted the health and well-being of full-time residents, weekenders, vacationers, retirees, Clemson students, and travelers passing through. The only emergency department in the county is here, with a caring staff and board-certified physicians who served a record 42,000 patient visits last year. Over 90% of the patients admitted to this hospital first spent time in the emergency room.
I have been in and out of probably half of the rooms in the ER with my family over the years, and it's just, this is a great hospital.
The average emergency physician switches jobs 5 times in their career, and 7 of our physicians have never had another job. They've served the community with a combined total of over 100 years. And that's a very rare thing in emergency medicine as a specialty. The providers here they're committed to the people of this county.
Oconee Memorial's commitment to continuing to provide high-quality health care for this growing community means growing with the community, expanding the emergency department to keep up with the ever-expanding populations we serve.
We have the newer facility here in the main hospital, and we deserve that for the ER.
If you live here, if you have family visiting here, if you have a second home here, if you're just in town for a sporting event, emergency medicine is vital to this community, and we look forward to partnering with our community on this important project.
As this community thrives, that growth has led to the ever-growing challenge of maintaining the highest standards of emergency care in an outgrown amount of space. Exceptional care requires exceptional accommodations to provide for increased patient volumes, updated equipment and technology, and new ways of expediting patients through the department with the utmost dignity and privacy possible.
We're busting at the seams at this point in time. Right now, on an average day at 3 p.m., our census is 33 patients. So if you think for a moment what that entails, we have 20 beds. So on an average day, all 20 of those beds are full by 3 in the afternoon. Another 8 patients will occupy stretchers in the hallway, leaving another 7 sitting in the waiting room, and that's an average day.
Oconee Memorial Hospital is a vital part of Prisma Health, advancing healthcare for the entire region. That's why Prisma Health has allocated $12 million in funding for a major renovation and expansion of this emergency department.
The emergency department at Oconee Memorial Hospital is the front door to our healthcare system. Whether you are ultimately admitted to the hospital in Oconee or transferred to the comprehensive pediatric, cardiac, stroke, or trauma centers at Greenville Memorial Hospital, we are the local access point. We are vital to this community.
The new expansion will expand our current physical space from 8,200 square feet to over 20,000. We will build 22 new rooms. Each one of those rooms will be big, private, and capable of treating any type of medical emergency. We'll renovate our existing space, create a small fast track area. We're going to have a space dedicated for victims of sexual assault. We will build an internal waiting room to accommodate patients who are stable and waiting on test results, to free up treatment rooms to improve patient flow and throughput.
Prisma Health is investing the bulk of the funding, but Oconee Memorial Hospital Foundation and its board of directors have made a commitment to raise an additional $1 million with community support. Your gifts to the foundation will help provide the features and extras that will make this the best possible expansion, serving the area for years to come.
I know $1 million seems like a lot of money, but by the time you purchase equipment and beds and the updated technology that's needed, that will go very quickly. Tim and I felt just an urgency of what little bit that we could contribute hopefully would help encourage others to do the same, especially those that are living here, working here, doing business in the county. I think that's important. I think we need to give back to this community for everyone.
Increasing space will increase patient service, because when every minute matters, the size of the facility, flow of the waiting areas, number of patient rooms, and even the accessibility of the ambulance entrances matter.
15 years ago, the emergency room wasn't as overcrowded, and trauma room 11 was available for Dr. Childs and the staff to have the room and the equipment they needed to get Ren's heart beating again. And God's hand was there with them all.
Amazingly and thankfully, Ren Johns made a complete recovery and recently graduated from high school. He has no effects from his accident. Minutes mattered.
We estimate that the driving time from the scene of the accident to our emergency department was about 6 minutes. The brain begins to suffer permanent severe damage at 8 minutes. So at the time he arrived to us, we think we had about a 120-second window to do something. If he had arrived on an average day now, we would have made room for him. We would have improvised to make room, but that takes seconds, and I shudder to think what the outcome might have been.
Your support of this fundraising campaign is vital for the expansion of the county's only emergency department, serving neighbors and visitors, college students and retirees, and all who unexpectedly need rapid access to medical care. Just as the Doyle family contributed the first gift of land to build this as a community hospital back in 1939, community support is needed today to offset the costs for the well-being of tomorrow. Every memory matters, every minute matters, and every gift matters.
They didn't give up on him. They stayed on it till they got his heart back. And there are no words. I owe Ren's life to him. And just another minute could have changed our life forever. Would have changed our life forever.